to Gridish Plays. Today we're playing Ranger X on the Sega Genesis. It's a relatively obscure game. I hadn't heard of it until I picked it up about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. Some guy was selling it, bought it for $5, pretty good deal. Let's check it out. I haven't played through this entire game. These cutscenes are pretty impressive for the Sega Genesis. They're wireframe, faux wireframe cutscenes. Pretty impressive. Somewhat reminiscent of what you might see on the Super Nintendo with the FX chip. In fact, this game in general has very good graphics. This was a late entry into the life cycle of the Genesis. It came out in 1993, if I recall correctly. So I have a lot of different maneuverability options. I can ride this vehicle. I can sink down into it and become part of it. And this, oddly enough, seems to be the only place where I can change my special weapon, is if I'm in this mode of transport. I can switch between special weapons by hitting B. But I can't use my special weapons in this mode. I have to leave it again to use my special weapons. I have a flamethrower, and I have kind of a energy bomb. But yeah, this game is very impressive graphically. So not only do we have all these foreground animations going on, there's also a lot of background animations, which are usually relatively ignored by other games in this genre. By the way, I think it's only fair to mention that I am using a code that grants me infinite continues, and that's not in an effort to cheat. Honestly, that's an effort to show more of the game. I am going to be playing the last few stages blind, because I've never played them before. I've seen a couple of clips on YouTube, but I myself have never played them before. But this game, for the most part, is pretty straightforward. Really cool boss coming up, by the way. What you'll find striking about this first boss is the absolute scale of this boss. It's a very large sprite to see on a Genesis title. This is a very arcadey game. Like this is what made arcades good in the 90s. Like in the early 90s, this is the kind of stuff you saw in arcades. And to see this kind of huge scale battle play out on the Genesis is pretty impressive. For the most part in this game, you're moving from left to right, but as you'll see in this level, there is some verticality to it, and sometimes you travel back to the left to reach certain areas. Gotta take this gun out. I'm gonna recharge my boost. I'm trying to remember how absolutely necessary going into this area is. Seems that it is rather necessary because I have to disable these those power modules. Being in this form of transport, it auto-targets anything that's above you. Yeah, see, disabling those power modules earlier turned those turrets offline. However, not this one. These little flying creatures are actually pretty easy to miss in the flurry of activity that you sometimes find yourself in. There's a beam here that they can't cross, so I can use that to my advantage. think this beam does damage to these things over time. Yeah, so I can just sit back and wait for them to kill themselves. Looks like there's another power core somewhere that I have to get. Or not? Yeah. I think that was being supplied power by a power core, but I didn't have to take it out first. Probably would have helped, though. Looks like there's another target over here. Wish I had a different weapon. Right now, my flamethrower would be nice in this situation. So it's not a question about where you're going. It's a question about how many of those... So look at that parallax scrolling. That looks fantastic. Very nice faux 3D. That looks really good. And this is on the Genesis, and like this is a late generation Genesis game. I mean that looks amazing. That's some fantastic graphics. Now in this vehicular form, there's no jump button. I have to press down to like charge my my kind of like a spring jump. These guys are rough. Got him down halfway. So I can tell when he's charging that beam, I get out of the way. Oftentimes, though, I don't have enough power saved up. Should just be able to keep this guy in this pattern. I'm almost out of health myself. It'd be nice to finish him off here.